Verizon has announced that more than 100 million people in over 1,700 cities around the US will have access in January to its 5G ultra wideband service. Good morning, broadcasters. 360 Seconds news and commentary for broadcast professionals is on the air. I'm Maria Kholodova from TKT. Let's discuss the latest technological news with our respected experts, Philip Grossman and Mary Seidler. Don't forget to give the program a like. The Verizon 5G ultra wideband service is up to 10 times faster than 4G LTE. Mary, what do you think about this?
I think this potentially is a game changer. And I wanted to ask Philip about what you think the impact will be with the adoption of ATSC3, not just in the US, but for example, in Canada.
I think one of the most important things about that, so 5G has been around, for about a year and a half now. It's rolled out, but this is their specific ultra wideband version of it. It has the key is it's low latency. The LTE has more than enough bandwidth in theory to do these kind of things, but it's that latency, dropping the latency below 10 milliseconds, which is really important when it comes to the ATSC 3.0, is that ATSC 3.0 could potentially become one of the backhaul channels for that interactivity data return. And latency is a very big issue. So you'll have the additional broadband aspect of it, as well as the low latency for the return, the back channel. What I think will be more interesting is, could it potentially supplant ATSC 3.0? Could this become a fixed-based television service provider like a cable channel, or would it do that but follow the ATSC 3.0 standards? So there's a lot of interesting things I think that this is going to enable. The next thing will be, obviously, does AT&T, does others come out, T-Mobile come out with similar type functionality features?
Do you see them ever getting together and saying, hey, this is what we ought to make as our new standard?
No.
Unfortunately,
unfortunately, there's the competition. I think they'll eventually come to an agreement on the standard side of it. The question will be the interoperability between the two services. Will AT&T and Verizon allow that overlap? Although it's mostly, because it's on the TV side, it's going to be more of a fixed service model. So there shouldn't necessarily be a competitive overlap from that perspective. It will just be dependent on who service you pick within specific areas. There are areas throughout the US, and I would assume in the world, that are, dominated by one or the two carriers. Then there are, the areas typically along the highways that are, shared by most of the two carriers. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes. I'm sort of excited about it. It's just that low latency side of it really makes a big difference.
Moving on to the Chiron Prime VSAR 1.7, which implements the Unreal Engine 4.26, increases cameras per engine, and adds template-based tools to simplify the process of creating and managing a broadcast-grade visual set. Philip, what do you think about this solution?
The most exciting thing is the adoption of the Unreal Engine. Unreal has sort of taken the industry, I don't want to say taken by storm, it's been a long time, but it is really being utilized in a lot of virtualized production, virtualized sets with new and more when we get to the micro LED panels for backlighting, for back sets, you're going to see a lot more virtual sets, which means there's going to be a lot more material available, which means there's going to be a lot more models and stuff that will be able to be used by this product. So I think that adoption of that engine is just going to give a much broader capability to what's possible, and they're doing it more in an augmented reality model as opposed to virtual reality model. But it's really going to, I think, extend the capabilities and what's possible on television.
And Mary, I was wondering if you had anything to add about this.
Exactly what Philip is saying. It's interesting. All the companies that I deal with that are looking into virtual sets or augmented, the second sentence out of all of their mouths is supported by we use Unreal Engine. So I think that in a way is becoming the standard, that people have to use that. So it's exciting.
And And now quickly onto Grass Valley. The Grass Valley EDIUS X version 10.30 supports the latest technologies such as Windows 11, H.265, raw hardware acceleration, and also variable frame rates MP4, typical for smartphones. Philip, how do you think that broadcasters quickly will benefit from this release?
So, I mean, EDIUS has and Grass has sort of an uphill battle with this software. The competition, obviously Adobe Premiere dominates the market. DaVinci Resolve is quickly coming up and starting to supplant that as well. I remember talking to one broadcaster who said, it's really hard to compete with, $25 a month or $50 a month. So I think it's great news for those who have already adopted EDIUS and see that in its marketplace and will continue to use it. So they know that there's still room there, but it's going to be an uphill battle for the rest of the industry to adopt it.
Great. Well, many thanks to our experts, Philip and Mary. We'll see you next Monday, same time. Bye.
Bye-bye.